Good evening and welcome to the commencement exercises for Springfield Township High School's class of 2016. My name is Chuck Rittenhouse, and I am the very proud principal of our wonderful high school. At this time, I ask that all students, faculty, and guests please remain standing or stand for our national anthem, which will be played by our symphonic band. Gentlemen, please remove your caps. Please be seated, gentlemen. Please put your caps back on. Members of the Board of School Directors, Dr. Hacker, our superintendent, administrators, faculty, staff, all guests, friends of the high school, and especially students, it's once again my pleasure to welcome you to our 2016 commencement exercises. It gives me great pleasure to introduce our first student speaker, the president of the class of 2016, Brianna Vetter.
Welcome guests, faculty, family, and most importantly, the class of 2016. People always ask me, Brianna, why did you run for class president? And I usually say because it was faster than walking for it. After an awkward moment of forced laughter, I usually add that I ran because I really care about my classmates, and I really do. When I met with some faculty members a few weeks ago to discuss what I would talk about in my graduation speech, I was informed that my speech was to encompass who our class was as a whole. At that moment, I realized I may have failed in my duty as the president to care about each one of my peers because I could not accurately address who I was as a whole. So I asked some fellow students to describe the class of 2016 in one word, and this is what I got: indifferent, lazy, boring, among many other adjectives with negative connotations. I guess you could say we're all just really, really modest, considering our class has had so many accomplishments. So many that I only have enough time to mention a few highlights. As a community, we're very active. In the beginning of the year, all of the seniors participate in a Give Back Day, where we thank the school for taking care of us for the past 4 years. We planted trees and flowers, cleaned classrooms, and wrote thank you letters to custodial staff. The class officers also organized the first ever senior class trip to Hershey Park, and with our class's luck, it rained. And who could forget the 30 volunteer hours, some of us more, we all had to complete just to be able to sit here today. Our class is very involved in an artistic sense as well. Senior artists won over $500 at the Festival of the Arts this year, with some of the artwork being purchased by the school to hang in our halls after we leave. The James Miller Award was also given to a senior to memorialize a Springfield artist who is no longer with us. Seniors created the Video Yearbook, a 30-minute compilation of video clips taken at events throughout the year. and the Thespians performed Once on This Island in front of all the Pennsylvania Thespians at this year's state conference. For a small school, our athletics are top-notch. The girls' water polo team made states for the first time ever in our school's history. And this year, we are sending 9 Spartans into the world of collegiate sports. Last, but certainly not least, are our clubs and activities. In October, 27 seniors were inducted into Springfield's chapter of the National Honor Society, one of the highest academic honors a senior can receive. Voices of Excellence raised over $2,000 for their scholarship fund, and their senior leaders worked hard to give our school its first ever career day. The Youth and Government Club gave 15 seniors the gift of a civics education and the unforgettable opportunity to work in our state's capital. Rentna, led by their senior editors, worked day and night to produce a beautiful 184-page yearbook to commemorate our time at Springfield. At Eastern Tech School, 7 seniors were awarded recognition for their hard work. And this was all just this year. So enough with the lousy adjectives, guys. We have a lot to be proud of. So, who is the class of 2016? We're privileged. We live in the suburbs and have all, as of today, graduated from what the Washington Post calls one of America's most challenging high schools, and the first school in Pennsylvania to enact a transgender bathroom policy. I'd say that makes us pretty special. Although now, as high school graduates, we have only passed society's lowest mark of intelligence and social affluence, I hope we remember how lucky we are to have received an education at one of the finest public schools in the area, a school with tens of thousands of books in its library, a computer for every single student, and teachers who truly care about our education. Not everybody has that. The class of 2016 is also really diverse. Although we are sharing this experience today, I will be remiss to say that we are all the same. Springfield encompasses every type of student there is. We're athletes, mathletes, activists, gamers, comedians, thespians, and innovators. I can name 100 other nouns, but I only have 5 minutes to speak. The only thing we have in common is that we're all different, which, contrary to what a cliched graduation speech might tell you, is completely okay. I know this speech is supposed to be about who we are, but we don't all know yet. Mark Twain once said, "The most important days in your life are the day you were born and the day you find out why." You may have asked yourself throughout your 4 years at Springfield, why am I here? Why was I put on this earth? There is no right answer. There is no answer, period. The world does not owe you an explanation. You owe yourself validation. I know this is a lot to take in, but luckily this is only high school, and if you did not figure out who you are, you have the rest of your life to do it. These 4 years will seem like nothing looking back when you look back a decade from now. So whether you loved high school or hated it, whether you're popular, a gamer, a jock, or you just floated through, this is your chance to start over. It's called commencement for a reason. It's a beginning. Maybe you didn't discover who you want to be. Maybe you discovered who you don't want to be. Both are important. To conclude, high school may not have gone the way you thought it would have, but there's still pride in what happened. Every so often, I think we're stuck in the mindset that we have to be perfect. High school was a very different experience for all of us, but that does not diminish the value of today. When you find that you're being hard on yourself, try to remember all that you have achieved. For some of us, that may be graduating with honors, and for others, the achievement may be simply graduating. Not one of us should have to leave high school apologizing for who we are. We're pretty great. And if you don't feel accomplished today, I urge you to recognize that it is never too late to become the person you want to be. And I hope you become someone who you are proud of. Congratulations to the class of 2016. We did it.
Thank you and congratulations, Brianna. Our next student speaker, Brianna Chapman, is a salutatorian of the class of 2016.
I can't say that my high school years have been the best years of my life because, as I recall, being 4 was pretty great. What I do have to admit is that these years did have an impact. I'm hesitant to overuse the word I because today is about the collective us, but I can't speak for you. I can only acknowledge experiences that touch all of us in one way or another. Whether high school was your thing or not, you were here, you had some experiences, you decided what you thought those meant, and you made it to today. Congratulations, by the way, class of 2016. The everyday experience of high school is not one that really feels life-changing. We rarely find ourselves sitting in a class, half asleep at 8 o'clock in the morning, filled with thanks for this opportunity to acquire knowledge. Truthfully, though, you've had a lot of opportunities while you were here, especially at a school like this where you're given substantial resources. It feels really good to know more than you did before, even if you weren't always a fan of the classes or experiences that got you there. I sometimes find myself connecting terms or concepts from a class to something occurring in my life or the world, and then catching myself and going, nerd. It's really important that we know more than we knew before, which may be a particularly obvious statement, but take a second and imagine the person you were in 8th grade, and then imagine that person was about to be let loose on the world, declared a legal adult. I think that's a terrifying thought. Even now, sometimes I'm not sure if I should be allowed to cross the street by myself, and it's not going to be that long before I move out of my parents' house. I don't know if we can really call ourselves mature yet, but I like to think we're closer than we were 4 years ago. Even the many admittedly painful experiences that the high school years are filled with can be seen as pretty beneficial to your growth when looking back. You probably wouldn't want to go through them again, but since you already did, you may find yourself willing to admit that you grew a little bit, maybe not as much as you would have hoped, but you still grew. Some days, just showing up at school was the biggest possible accomplishment. Those days where you just wake up thinking, nope, but somehow drag yourself into that building anyway. Maybe that was every day for you, I don't know. Regardless of individual strengths and weaknesses, many of us can say that we have had at least one, but likely multiple moments where school seemed absolutely impossible, and we angrily question whether there's really any good reason that anyone should have to wake up before noon for anything. But here all of us are. Going through high school is also a good way to come to appreciate small victories. If you're in a class that's one of the hardest classes for you, but then realize you understand something, even if it's something small that everyone else understood 3 days ago, you're ready to stand up and start doing a celebratory dance. Or maybe you are doing one in your chair, not caring that you may look slightly insane. That's genuinely a great skill, to be able to think, I don't even care that that kid who thinks they can teach this class probably understood this before the first day, because I didn't know I could understand anything about this subject, and I feel like I deserve ice cream right now. Small victories aren't nothing. They may not be the final step in your process, but they help you get there. Today is a day where a lot of us feel old, but we're not that old yet. We haven't made nearly enough mistakes yet to be old, even though in order to make it to today, we've done our job as high school students and made a lot of them. I'm glad to be done with high school. I'm ready for new and different mistakes. I've fulfilled my quota for high school mistakes and look forward to going and making bigger, better mistakes somewhere else. For me personally, that building was the literal last place on earth I wanted to be many days. But it has been a place of opportunity for me to make countless mistakes that I've been able to grow from while allowing me to have small victories along the way. As a class, we're made up of distinct, unique personalities, and we may seem to have limited common ground. The The high school years are filled with imperfections and regrets, yet still are able to provide us with proud moments and good stories unique to each of us. We've done lots of things wrong, but clearly we've done something right, because today is the day we are finally graduating, and that is an accomplishment worth celebrating.
Thank you. Congratulations, Brianna. Our next student speaker, Zoe Adelapour, is the valedictorian of the class of 2016.
Welcome, families, friends, faculty, and guests to the graduation of the class of 2016. And to the class of 2016, I want to say welcome to the brink of the rest of your lives, the day upon which you conclude this chapter of your lives and move swiftly on to the next, eager to show your academic prowess in college, excited to enter the fierce competition of the business world, prepared to champion life and all of its challenges. I want to tell you this because I think it is what we as a society are supposed to tell this generation, the future leaders of the world, the front runners of tomorrow. But I cannot stand here and recite trite platitudes without any degree of sincerity. I do wish each and every one of you American dreamers success, but to show off, to compete, and to win, has this become our definition of success? Dreams, goals, and plans are not to be villainized. Motivation and passion are not to be punished. They must, however, be examined carefully and closely. What if, instead of chasing paychecks and promotions and a reputation that matters more to us than it does to anyone we meet, we dream of accepting life exactly the way it is? We connect with it. We chase meaning in the form of bringing joy to others, knowing that decades from now, the only thing that will matter is how we have affected the lives and the hearts of those around us. What if we plan to find peace, to be motivated by the simple exhilaration of existence? Because the problem with wanting to win at life is that life is not a game. It cannot be won. For each of us, our life is all we are, all we have and will ever have. And if we think of it as an opponent, as something to be conquered, we lose touch with it. We separate our egos and our consciousness from our reality, and we forget why we are here. And while the life we have is all we will ever get, at the same time, each of us is so inconsequential. We are tiny, a grain of sand in the shore of space, a ripple in the ocean of time. In this sense, it is impossible to show off. From a distance, you are just as significant as the next grain of sand, no more and no less. And under this lens, competition makes no sense. If a wave reaches the shore before another, the path of the second is not impeded. We will all get to where we need to be. The only differentiating factor is time. And time will pass, regardless of how we spend it. So don't let yourself obsess over the minutes, days, and years. They are inevitable. And so follow your passions. Chase the life that ignites your soul. But when you feel as though you are not holding up in quantitative comparison to those around you, keep this in mind. The function of our brains is to connect us with our surroundings, with our immediate sensations. It is not to send us into spirals of self-doubt and worry as we try to peer up and over, away from the present and into the arena of the future. When the world seems too large to tackle, do not attempt to tackle it. Instead, enjoy it. I want to leave you with a quote from my favorite book, The Brothers Karamazov by Fyodor Dostoevsky. I love the sticky leaves in spring, the blue sky. That's all it is. It's not a matter of intellect or logic. It's loving with one's insides, with one's stomach. And so my wish for all of you is to love life more than any prescribed meaning to it. Find happiness in all of your endeavors, even if they are as simple as appreciating the gift of the moment. And contribute to the sustainability of wonderment in humanity, progressing our evolution in the pursuit of kindness and compassion in our collective human consciousness. Thank you, and congratulations to all of you.
Thank you. Congratulations, Zoe. It is now my distinct pleasure to introduce Dr. Nancy Hacker, Superintendent of the School District of Springfield Township. On behalf of the entire high school community, I would like to publicly thank and acknowledge your support, leadership, and guidance during this school year. Please welcome our Superintendent, Dr. Hacker.
Thank you. Good evening. It's my pleasure to welcome all of you to this year's graduation ceremonies for the class of 2016. And Brianna, and Zoe, thank you for giving me the impossible task of following the three of you. To the parents and families of our graduates, I congratulate you and I salute you for your involvement and concern over the education of your children. Graduates, would you please take a moment and join with me in recognizing the hard work and efforts that your families have put forth on your behalf. I would also like to recognize our honored guests from Springfield Township, our members of the Board of School Directors, our administrators, and faculty and staff members who have chosen to be here this evening to celebrate this event. As I began the process of reflecting about my remarks to you this evening, I began recalling some of the recent influences on my own thinking in an attempt to search for something that I felt might inspire, influence, or at least hopefully interest you. So I thought back to some recent news that I've heard about the notoriety over the upcoming 10th anniversary in the year 2017 of the publication of a favorite book of mine. The book, entitled Eat, Pray, Love, was made into a popular movie starring Julia Roberts and was written by Elizabeth Gilbert, who in recent years has become a frequent contributor on the topic of success on TED Talks videos. Success, as Gilbert sees it, is what she refers to as finding your way back home. Not your home in the literal sense, but instead your home is what it is you are passionate about. What are you willing to dedicate all your energies towards, regardless of whether it first brings you success or failure? Gilbert's book is a story of her search for self-discovery and reawakening. Despite having all the outward hallmarks of success, a marriage, home in the country, career, plans to have a family, Gilbert was neither happy nor satisfied, and she had difficulty pinpointing exactly why. She only knew she had to search for her happiness elsewhere, and so she left it all behind: husband, job, house, and embarked on a spiritual pilgrimage that took her to Italy, Bali, and India. In a sense, Gilbert's journey of thousands of miles across the globe was necessary for her before she ultimately would be able to find her way back home. Gilbert's journey, and in particular the title of the book, which would later recount those travels and experiences, is a metaphor for the journey that we all take through life in order to search for our own identities and to define for ourselves our personal values. So with apologies to Gilbert, let me share with you my interpretations of the meanings of eat, pray, and love, in the hopes that you'll take these tidbits of advice as you begin your own journeys to find your way back home. The first word, eat, reminds us how we go through life exploring simple comforts of food, trying out new recipes, tastes, and delicacies in an effort to please our palates and sustain our bodies. Often we become bolder with time, experience, or travel, and we try out new foods. Eating is one of the true, simple pleasures of life, as we seek to not only satisfy hunger or cravings, but we also relish in the delight of a well-cooked meal and savor the varying tastes and smells that are part of a dining experience. Whether you favor a cheesesteak or the finest filet, pizza or pork chops, the possibilities are endless. And such is life. The possibilities are endless. Graduates, partake of life's pleasures, of which food is just one. Take joy in the simple things that make you happy and which feed your soul, and make time for them. Balance your seriousness, your studies, your work by fitting in opportunities to share food of any kind, a laugh, or time with a friend or family member. Drink in the joys of nature, the world around you, and savor each moment. The next word, pray, does not simply refer to a belief in a spiritual power or entity greater than yourself. For some, turning to praying to a higher power offers comfort, solace, strength, and guidance. Yet praying is also about taking time to find peace within yourself. It is about self-discovery and finding internal contentment with being the person that you want to be. Prayer is about taking time to slow down, to seek out the quiet, to reflect, to sort out issues, and to learn to trust yourself and your instincts. Take time to hear yourself, and most importantly, to listen to yourself and to trust what your core is telling you that you must do. Take time to pray. And finally, love. This goes without saying that the joy of finding and sharing love with others is what makes us human. Reveling in the bonds and relationships we have is what makes life worth living, whether it's by loving a significant other, children, parents, relatives, or friends. Do not be too proud to love and to show that love. But first and foremost, you must begin by loving yourself and who you are as an individual before you can find true happiness with someone else. Look for love within your own being. Be happy with who you are and who you are becoming as you grow each day. And then take that love and share it with others. And finally, find your way home. Discover what you are passionate about, what you are willing to dedicate all of your energies toward, regardless of whether it first brings you success or failure. Start your own journey, and along the way, partake of simple pleasures, maintain your belief in a power that propels you forward, and find love in what you do and in those around you. And remember, regardless of where your journeys take you, I hope that your way back home will always bring you back to what you learned and what you gained from your time here in Springfield Township. I wish you all the very best. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Hacker. It's my pleasure to speak briefly about the senior class, and Brianna shared some of this information already. I'd like to emphasize it again. You've had such an extraordinary school year this year. Acceptances to outstanding colleges, universities, trade schools, branches of the U.S. military, and pursuing a job in a field of interest. The National Association of Music Merchants named our school district as one of the top school districts in music education for the third consecutive year, national recognition. Several teams made the district playoffs, and dozens of our student athletes received league, district, and state honors, with numerous student athletes continuing on to play at the college level. As Brianna mentioned, we were once again designated as one of the most challenging high schools in America by the Washington Post. Our musicians and artists achieved local, district, state, and national honors and recognition, and will continue to do so at the collegiate level and beyond into the workforce. High SAT scores, ACT scores, and achievement in the National Merit Scholarship Program. At the Senior Awards Assembly, we distributed over 100 academic and athletic awards totaling more than $14,000, entertaining plays, musicals, and concerts, and a safe and fun school year. I have only one regret this year, and is that I was only your principal for 3 years. I am very proud of every single student sitting in front of me this evening. This time, I would like to acknowledge that 2 of our MCIU staff members are retiring next week, Carol Platt and Margie Lutz. They have been in our district for over 20 years doing outstanding work in our building. We thank them for their years of dedicated service. Can you please join me in recognizing these educators? Each year, students at Springfield Township High School are given the opportunity to select a faculty commencement speaker. This year, our students selected Becky Edelmeyer. Mrs. Edelmeyer has been an English teacher at Springfield Township High School for 4 years. Students, please welcome your selection for faculty speaker, Mrs. Edelmeyer.
Hi, guys. Thank you, Dr. Hacker, Dr. Rittenhouse, members of the school board, administrators, my wonderful colleagues, parents swelling with joy. To my gorgeous, talented seniors, I need to thank you the most because I wouldn't be here without you. I wouldn't be a teacher without my students, so I need to thank you, my beautiful and sometimes crazy seniors, because without you, I wouldn't be me. I would have less gray hair, own a bakery, and have a shorter commute, but I wouldn't be Miss L. And I wouldn't be standing here with the greatest honor of being your graduation speaker. While brainstorming ideas for this speech, I thought back to the infamous ladder from last year, as well as my high school and college graduation speakers, and one amazing detail came to light. I can't remember a thing they said. And it took a few texts between college friends to settle on the fact that Chris Matthews from Hardball was in fact our speaker. With that realization, the pressure and nausea subsided, allowed me to then focus on the message I want to pass on here today. So with a clear head and the knowledge that you will forget everything I am saying, I went where every good English teacher goes, to books. I considered all the novels you have read, or not, during your 4 years here at Springfield. I looked at the struggles and journeys in each, specifically Odysseus' journey as a metaphor for your journey, and a modern twist of Polonius' advice to Laertes to be selective with your friends and honest with yourself. I didn't think these were good enough, or me, really. So I started digging through the books I spend the most time reading, children's books, with a little assistance from my sons, Ethan and Mason. While talking about and rereading every book they own, a tug of war broke out and Ethan got upset. I told him to take a breath and move on. Mason is a baby. Then it hit me. Take a breath. The advice I give my children every time they get upset. They need the reminder to calm down, look at the situation, and move on. Yes, I'm talking about a 1- and 6-year-old, but it applies to you as well. Take a breath. Assess the situation, see what your options are, and then choose. Hopefully, your parents and the faculty at STHS have taught you to make the right choice. So, seniors, take a breath. Think about it. You are graduating from high school. I know you've been talking about it, but it must be sinking in sitting here. No more high school, no more bells, no more pink passes. You are leaving home, joining the military, going off to college, or starting a job. But most importantly, you're moving on to the rest of your life. That is remarkable, overwhelming, and maybe a little surreal, which is why you may just need to take a breath. I'm going to go ahead and get this first one out of the way, the cliche, hard to swallow, deep breaths advice. You all have different visions of what success looks like. For some, it's working hard and studying hard. Others, to my dismay, say they'll marry rich or simply make a ton of money. Whatever it is, I want you to acknowledge that you probably have it all wrong and you will fail along the way. I'm not talking about that F in English or even the F in your 8 a.m. basket weaving class next year. I'm talking about real failure, the kind that makes you want to crawl and hide, but you can't. You need to take that breath, assess the situation, and grow from it. So what if you failed at being a travel agent like I did? Who uses travel agents anymore anyway? The next thing you try might just be it, or not, but you won't know unless you take the risk. All right, this one's rough. Deep breaths. Look up. Put down your phone. You're welcome. Everywhere we look, students and some adults are staring at their phones. Life and beauty are passing you by as you watch other people's Snapchat stories. Some of you tonight at this very event will be watching these seniors receive diplomas through a little screen with filters instead of experiencing it with them. The point is, seniors, you need to look up and smile at life. You keep your phone, capture and share the memories, but first enjoy the moment. Take that breath, pause, and appreciate the experience. Live the moment and share it later. I love when people post things days after the event. I assume that they were having so much fun living the moment that they forgot to Instagram, Snapchat, tweet, and post about it. That is beautiful. I sound like a broken record to my students on this one, but being respectful can dictate the rest of your life. In tough situations, you must take a breath and respect the people around you. You are not going to remember the times in class when you sat quietly and respected your teachers. You will remember the time when you talked back to your coach, you snubbed a student for some inconsequential reason, or when you disrespected your parents. You will look back and regret those moments and wish you could change them. You can't, but you can move forward and understand that you need to respect people even if you don't like them. You can be better from here on out and respect the people around you. Surround yourself with people that make you better so you can learn to work together, listen to each other, and try and understand different points of view. Parents, you need to take a breath on this one. Seniors, I want you to move away. Leave Springfield. This is your home, and you should always come back, but you need to experience other places, other lifestyles, and learn about the world. There are so many new experiences outside of Springfield Township, and I want you to live all of them. I did, and it has been one of the best experiences of my life. Most of the students know this, but shortly after college, my now husband was offered a job in Las Vegas, and we took the terrifying leap and moved across the country with one job and the very little bit of money I had earned from 1 year of working after graduation. Luckily, after that failed and brief stint as a travel agent, I was able to start teaching, but the move was rough. Being far from home, parents, comfort is hard, but it was so worth it. I had the best 7 years of my life. I made the best friends I'll ever have. I met no, I did not meet my husband. He went with me, sorry. I met so many different people. I experienced city life, I ate great food, and I married my husband. Ultimately, we came back, mainly to raise our son Ethan, but we came home, and I'm so thankful we did. Because here I am, taking my breath and saying goodbye to my favorite group of seniors. I'm not going to cry. It's no secret I love teaching seniors. Every year I request senior classes and cherish the ones I have. I love spending the last part of your high school career with you. I love talking about previous years and your daily experiences. And I love that I have taught many of you as freshmen, juniors, and seniors. Yes, parents, I have taught some of your kids 3 times,
I needed quite a few deep breaths in those classes. And I can see how you've grown physically and usually a little in maturity. You have lived in my classroom, shared the gory details of relationships, fights, breakups, and life. I have said goodbye to quite a few groups of seniors, but you will always hold a special place. This is the hard part for me, saying goodbye. I've watched you become mini adults, so last week when you shuffled in for the last class, I was sad. I am sad to say goodbye. It's strange to think of these halls without your laughs and screams, and my desk chair will suddenly be empty. But for your families, they will still see you grow and change and become someone amazing. But for teachers, you walk out the door and sometimes that's it. We hope that you will reach out or visit, and social media makes that much easier. But really, you're gone. Our kids are leaving the nest and they won't be back. I know I'll have some new friends on Facebook after today. I already had a few requests last time I checked. And I'll get some emails here and there. Maybe a wedding invitation in 10 years. I'm just saying. I invited my high school English teacher to my wedding. But this is goodbye. So with that, I'm going to take a truly deep breath, try to hold back the tears, and say goodbye. You always have a place in Springfield, and you will always have a place with me. Thank you, and congratulations to the class of 2016.
Thank you, Mrs. Edelmeyer. At this time, please enjoy the musical selection Footprints and by our symphonic band and combined choirs. Thank you. Could we have one more round of applause for Mr. Gottesman, Mr. Puntel, and all of our talented musicians for singing and playing for us this evening. They're the best. Dr. Hacker, Superintendent of Schools, Mrs. Lipinski, President of the School Board of Directors, on behalf of the Springfield Township High School Faculty Administration, it is my honor and privilege to certify to you that these members of the Springfield Township High School class of 2016 have met all graduation requirements established by the Commonwealth of Education, Pennsylvania, and by the School District of Springfield Township Board of Directors, and are eligible to receive their diplomas this evening. We will now begin awarding diplomas to the class of 2016. As this is a formal ceremony, I respectfully request that our guests refrain from the use of noisemakers, horns, or other distractions. Please keep in mind that each student deserves to have his or her name pronounced during the ceremony. Thank you very much.
Brianna Kathleen Vetter. Brianna Nio Chapman. Zoe Valentine Edelapore.
Anna Cushing Adams. Harrison Williams Affle. Maritza Alvarado. Anita K. Anderson. Raven Nicole Anderson. Celestine Love Ball. Jada Brianna Barnes. Miles Jonathan Barnes.
Griffin Alexander Beidel. Ian Maurice Bennett. Marlene Julia Berger. Bradford Ray Barry III. Kiana Charday Biddings. Andrew Joseph Berkelbach. Kenneth Charles Blackshear. Robert Jonas Blatt.
Alyssa Justine Bond. Antonio Giovanni Bosca. Riley Cahill Boyd. Richard Isaiah Brady. Kimberly Nicole Brandalicio. Kate Lynn Bray. Malia Michelle Brooks. Brianna Nicole Buckley.
Lily Shuttleworth Bump. Christian L.F. Burks. Brianna Rochelle Bush. Jack Young Carlson. Savannah Ashley Call. Timothy James Cawley. Margaret Emily Chandler. Lawrence Joseph Clark IV.
Christopher Eric Clark Jr. Zaria Ariana Clifton. Lily Ilana Koltoff. Corey Scott Coons. John Patrick Corcoran. Jack Thomas Cornelli. Corey Vincent Catone. Colin Crinity.
Luke Joseph Curry. Christopher Vincent Cush. Jacob David. Samuel Lamar Ebison Davis. Edwin DeJesus. Mairead Elena Drake. Lola Jane Estock. Brian Patrick Farrell Jr.
Kion Farron Smith. Mark Fields. Jaime Leo Figueres. Benjamin Isaiah Fisher. Nigel Salerno Fox. Ian Frasca. Nicholas Stephen Gatos. Luke Wynn Gallagher.
Michael Garvin. Matthew Joseph Goss. Meredith Nicole Giordano. Julia Lynn Juvenazzo. Stephen Dennis Griffin. Brennan Connor Grimes. Molly Ann Grinnan. Daniel Nicholas Grogan.
Jennifer Hammonds. Wait 1 second. April Rose Harvey. Justin Hill. Kyrie Nafis Hopkins Bay. Seamus Patrick Hoyer. Serenity Aria Irvin. Alicia Jin. Anissa Johnson.
Dana Jones. Samara Lynn Jones. Jesse Daniel Kaknich. Michael Kasabian. Brenna Marie Kelly. Eric Krugman. Ryan Krugman. Joseph Krywicki.
Sean Patrick Lawn. Elizabeth Ann Liebfried. Margreta Lease. Delana Ryan Linmar. Shamali Evelise Lozada. Holly Eileen Ludwig. Francis Graham Madeira. Benjamin M. Marquez.
Jared Massa. Robert Matthews. Christina Marie McDaniel. Dwayne McDaniel, Jr. Joseph Patrick Maguth. William McHale. Bridget Spencer McKelvey. Jorge Martinez Mexicaticla.
Maxwell Reed Michaels. Angelia Natasha Miller. Kevin Scott Miller, Jr. Aaron Marquis Morris. Anna Marie Natali. Brooke Needhammer. Elizabeth Ann Neifert. Ryan Novak.
Matthew Joseph Nypower. Carly Ann Phelan. Anthony James Pohl. Millicent Ann Gates Ponce. Tyler Frank Postel. Marcus Justin Purnell. Katie Marie Quigg. Emily Ramirez.
Maroney Raphael. Nicholas Galen Holland Rasmussen. Alexander John Raybold. Elizabeth Ann Reynolds. Richard Anthony Reynolds, Jr. Kevin John Ritchie. Brett Walter Ryder. Holly Ann Rosa.
Anisha Camille Scott. Catherine Letitia Ryan. Maura Maeve Ryan. Megan Elizabeth Sampman. Amanda Shagrin. Nicole Francis Siriani. Ethan Anderson Steinberg. Daniel Hawthorne Sue.
Kevin Patrick Sykes. John Harvard Thane III. Corinne Tompkins. Shalil Dante Thornton. Kyle Mark Tournier. Fiona McGinley Tran. Thomas Christian Valderrama. Domenico Anthony Verone.
Christopher John Vecchione Jr. Alexia Ward. Brenna Marie Waters. Nicole Marie Werner. Joshua Donovan Williams. Molly Wu. Allison Brittany Yoder. Luke Kane Zachney.
Max Leon Rudnick Zeman. Daniel Alexander Zimmerman. Gabriel John Zerga.
Well, we can do better than that. Can we have another round of applause for our newly minted class of 2016? Before we close this evening, I'd like to thank the many individuals involved in making tonight's ceremony and the entire school year possible. Our very supportive and wonderful entire board of school directors, central administrative staff, senior class officers, Brianna Vetter, President, Kevin Sykes, Vice President, Elizabeth Libfried, Secretary, Elizabeth Kniford, Treasurer, their wonderful class advisors, Mrs. Sheehan and Mrs. Lawler. If we could have a round of applause for them. It's tough being a senior class advisor. The technology, maintenance, and custodial staff have been out here all week, including Craig Thorne, Kerry Horst, Joe Coughlin, Phil Hesden, Vincent Bell, John Ferraro, Katie Miller, Ray Slater, Steve Schrader, Anthony Mancuso, Frank D. Michelle, Rich Oliver, Tim Coughlin, Tom Wexler, Ginny Wexler, Bill Watson, Linda Mears, Jennifer Sullivan, Nassim Figueroa, and the entire staff at ServiceMaster. The stadium looks great. The schools always look awesome. The high school PTA board members, Sharon Panera, Megan DeMara, Betty Messer, Jennifer Hoagland, and Sarah Koppel, our outstanding transportation and food services departments, the teaching and support staff in all of our buildings, and central administration, and a great big thank you for all those staff marching tonight, our dedicated coaches, advisors, and administrators, our security personnel, our friends across the street, the Springfield Township Police Department, Springfield Ambulance Association, all of our local fire departments for joining us tonight, Springfield Township Board of Commissioners, and our Township Manager, Mr. Don Berger. Assistant Principals Tracy Walter and Jason Payne, they do a great job every single day. All of our awesome parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, friends, and families. Perhaps most importantly, our wonderful secretaries at our high school, Denise Buchanan, Sue Nelson, Tara Kane, and Adrian Smythe. Can we give a round of applause for all these individuals? At this time, I ask everyone, please stand and join us in singing of the Springfield Township High School alma mater. For students, the words are in your program, or in the stands, pardon me, the words are in your program at the bottom of the first page. Graduates, words are inside your diploma cover. Guests and staffs, please be seated, please stand at this time. And seniors, you will remain standing after the alma mater. Seniors, at this time, I'd like Class President Brianna Vetter to join me for the ceremonial turning of the tassel. Before we do that, a reminder to students that after you turn your tassel and throw your cap in the air, which I certainly encourage, always be safe though, I ask that you gather your cap, do your best to get back to your seat, and you'll recess out of the stadium in orderly fashion after those on the stage and our guests process from the field. We will process off the field in the following manner and order. I will lead the procession with all the individuals on the stage again, followed by the staff, our dignitaries, and finally the students. Students, you will walk through a staff procession line. It'll be down here right where you walked in between the two lines of individuals. You will then proceed to the concession stand for your diploma. Students can pick up the diplomas in the concession stand immediately after the ceremony. The stand will close approximately 30 minutes after the conclusion of the ceremony. Here is your class president, Brianna Vetter.
Fellow seniors, please join me in the ceremonial movement of the tassel from right to left. No, not yet. On to bigger things, Springfield. Congratulations, class of 2016. We did it.
Thank you.